For US Gamer, I'm Jeremy Parrish. Yesterday, you saw my first attempt at creating a level in Super Mario Maker, and it was a hot mess. Still, I feel like there was the kernel of a good idea hidden underneath all that morass, so today I've tried to wrestle some sense into it. As it turns out, just a few small, minor design tweaks really make a huge difference in the flow and playability of the stage. I started by changing the color palette at someone else's suggestion to an underground night style. This doesn't have any real impact on how the game plays, but it looks more appropriate. So you can see here on the first screen that I made some pretty big changes to just about every part of this opening area to kind of create a self-contained set of challenges that are better and more communicative. For instance, I made the spring block there a question block, so you know to hit it. I made the space underneath that passage down below wider, so it's taller and more inviting for people to explore and check out. There are coins up above now, so you're more likely to check out and see what happens when you scroll up on the screen, where you'll find a mushroom. And this duck slide area to reach the pipe over to the right if you take the upper path is no longer quite so punishing. I added an alcove so you can stand up and take a jump. I changed up this area too, added some Goombas, repositioned the pipes slightly to make them a little more fair. The coins are there to kind of guide you. This here is really different. I added a platform, so it's a safe space because I changed the orientation of the topmost pipe. So that gives you a chance to kind of pause and say, oh, that's different. This area is changed slightly. There's supposed to be a Goomba here that's not showing up for some reason. I added question blocks and made it kind of another self-contained alcove, so there's a little more incentive to explore. Then here I changed the single platforms with turtles on them to wider platforms. And you can kick the turtles either at each other or you can kick them down here to kind of remind you, oh yeah, I can run across those spaces. And then this final area I changed quite a lot also. There's a little tricky bit here with a turtle that you have to kick and it breaks away part of the wall, but you can still get the spring and jump up to the top. I think that spring that I just bounced off of is too obvious. And this is too obvious also, but there's a hidden mushroom up there, a one-up mushroom from the day 2 set of tiles. And then you can take a flying leap to clear the stage. So a little bit of rewards for exploration. Someone pointed out that this was kind of channeling Super Mario World, and I agree. It's got more of that sort of exploratory, optional style to it. You can take multiple paths to get to where you're going, and you're rewarded for doing so. And I tried to make it so this time you're not punished for exploring. So on the whole, I think this new version of the stage works out pretty well. It's not a classic, but it's strong. Like, I would play this in a Mario game and think, oh, no, that was an okay level. So with that, having been done, I feel a little more confident about making a second level. So let's jump in and see what the second level can do for us. For starters, I discovered that you can expand the length of stages. That slider down at the bottom, SG, start goal. If you drag goal, you can make the stage much lengthier, so you don't have to go with the default. So that's kind of nice. So I'm trying to avoid the temptation to make levels overly busy and overly complex. That's not really how Mario games work. There are the bonus stages, sure, but for the most part I'm trying to keep things a little more simple. It doesn't always work out on this level. Like here, this is kind of a disaster. In theory, kicking the turtle there is great, but this area kind of slows down. It gets bogged down by that low passage. So that needs to be lengthier. This little area up above doesn't really have much value to it, aside from the hidden mushroom, but this whole area just seems a little too long. There's not much of a hazard there, so it's not very interesting. This, I think, is okay. It kind of reminds me of, Super Mario Bros. 1, although I play clumsily, so what do you know? The Goomba pipe here is the first of 2 enemy spawning pipes that appear, and I put the Koopa Troopa in here specifically so that you'll have a way to clear out Goombas and get over the pipe. So if you time it right, you can get past there. The turtle here is just begging to be kicked into the piranha plant, which will reveal a fire flower. So both that pipe and the kicking the shell into a block to reveal a secret, I think, are good starts for a level, but they don't really get explored much later. There's, the spiny pipe right there, but it doesn't really work that well because there's not much hazard there if you get the fire flower. So I think that needs to be reworked. The moving platform there also needs to be reworked because it's kind of pointless. I think there's potential for that to be interesting, but at the moment it just kind of seems like, oh, I had a moving platform on my palette, so I put it in. This part's really awkward. As you can see, the fireballs, the physics on them won't let me shoot through narrow spaces, so I can't kill those enemies with fireballs. You can't actually jump up on top to the wide space. That's just bad, so you have to squeeze through underneath like that. That's not cool. And it's even worse if you try to get the mushroom here. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, you dumbass. So yeah, so anyway, not the greatest. Level ends with kind of a classic Koopa paratroopa hopping down a staircase, nice little Super Mario Brothers one touch, and that's it. So, second level, better than my first attempt at my first level, but not as good as the refined first level. So, I'll take another swipe at this one, but I think for tomorrow I'm going to try another new stage. There's supposed to be an underwater set unlocking, and I hate underwater stages. So I'm going to really be challenged there to create an underwater stage that I don't hate. We'll see if it works out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with more Super Mario Maker and more self-criticism. That's what the world loves. Thanks.